Have you ever tried to create one of those attractive horizontal scrolling websites and found it too complicated? And have you worried about making it responsive on all devices? Horizontal Scroll Widget from Premium Add-ons for Elementor makes that easy. It's fully responsive, which means your design will scroll smoothly on desktops, tablets, and phones. No extra effort needed. This widget is very rich in features. If you're looking for something specific, you can skip ahead to the relevant chapter. But if you want to learn all about it, keep watching. This is Andrew from LeapWorks. Today, I will show you how to create an impressive horizontal scroll website inside WordPress without writing a single line of code. All you need is Premium Add-ons Pro plugin activated on your WordPress site. Remember, the Pro version needs the free version to work, and both plugins require Elementor Page Builder to function seamlessly. Also, don't forget to enable Horizontal Scroll Widget from Premium Add-ons Control Panel so it's ready to use in Elementor. Alright, I've already designed some containers here, and they're currently in a standard vertical order. I will use Horizontal Scroll Widget from Premium Add-ons for Elementor to make them scroll horizontally. Let's go to Edit the Page with Elementor Editor. Now we create a new container directly below the last container we want to include in the horizontal layout to avoid any rendering issues. Set this new container to full width and full height, and remove any padding for a clean layout. Now search for Premium Horizontal Scroll Widget, then drag and drop it into this new container. In the Content tab here, I'll add the content that will scroll horizontally. You can choose the content type with two options available: Element to Template or Container ID. For this example, I'll use Container ID since the containers are already on the page. I will assign a unique ID to each container and match those IDs here to every item. Then, I'll go back to the widget, create repeater items, and paste the corresponding ID for each one in order. This way, the containers are added to Horizontal Scroll Widget and the page scrolls horizontally. Let's proceed and discover the other controls. Scroll Background Transition option creates smooth transitions between container backgrounds. Whether you're using a solid color or an image, this option works seamlessly to add a visually pleasing background effect. However, it's important to ensure that your containers do not already have any background color or image applied. Otherwise, this feature won't work as intended. Now let's go ahead and add backgrounds to the repeater items I have, with the position set to center and the display size set to cover. You can adjust these settings as you want to suit your design. See how it creates a nice flow as you scroll? I'll follow the same process for the other containers. Let's take a look at the final result. Next, I will adjust the effect's smoothness by setting background transition speed. Now it's time to add some cool effects to the containers. Let's start with those splitting images to make them interact with horizontal scrolling. Scrolling up to the main container to see how it's applied. This key visual is designed using Image Layers widget, which I will now use to implement the effect. It works perfectly with Horizontal Scroll Widget. I highly recommend using it for a more dynamic design. The two images you see here are added by repeater items through this button. In each one, I set horizontal and vertical offset values and made one higher than the second. These offsets control the image position. Horizontal offset moves images left or right, and vertical offset moves them up or down, with values controlled in pixels or percentages. To make the images move as you scroll, I will go to the Animation tab and turn on Scroll Effects, then Vertical Parallax and make the direction down with speed 3. Next, I will create the same animation for the second photo, but change the direction to up. Here's the result. See how it interacts when I scroll the page. In the second container, I will follow the same steps for the air balloon and money images to make them move with the scroll. To do this, I'll go to the Animations tab inside Image Layers widget and enable Scroll Effects. To make the images move vertically, enable Vertical Parallax. To make them move horizontally, enable Horizontal Parallax. Since I want this image to move to the right, I'll keep the movement type horizontal and then set the direction to right with a speed of 3. This speed value controls how fast the balloon moves as the user scrolls. Now I'll repeat the same steps for each of the money images, so they all move together when the page is scrolled. You can also add a blur to create a shallow depth of field effect. There's a direction option too. You can choose to decrease or increase the blur as the image moves. And if you want a bit of extra motion, you can use the rotate option to create a falling movement while the image scrolls. Let's add a floating effect to this image. In the Animation tab, I'll enable Floating Effect and use Translate Control. Translate X moves the image horizontally. Let's try setting a speed so you can see it in action. While Translate Y moves it vertically. For this example, I'll keep Translate X at 0 and set Translate Y to 30 with a speed of 3 to make the image move slowly vertically. See how it's now floating? Using the same steps, I will apply floating effects and scroll animation to the other design elements in the third and fourth containers. For this image, I used Premium Image Hotspots widget, allowing you to add hotspots that display contextual information upon clicking or hovering it. Check out the demo page link in the description. In the last container, I will apply a floating effects to this image, just as I did before. Now let's see how it appears in Horizontal Scroll widget. Please note that the floating and scroll effects we added to Image Layers widget will only be visible on the front end. One of the features that makes our widget stand out is the variety of customization options available, allowing it to look great on desktops, tablets, and phones. Let's switch to the mobile view to adjust the layout for smaller screens. I will edit each container that I've called in Horizontal widget individually and check how they appear horizontally. In the first container, you will notice that the images overlap the text. To amend this, we need to make sure that the inner containers stack vertically rather than being displayed side by side. Let's start by navigating to the wrap control and switching it from no wrap to wrap. This simple step forces the inner elements to stack vertically, resolving the layout issue. Now that the containers are correctly stacked, we can adjust the image overlap. I will go to Image Layer widget and increase the container height to give everything more space. Then, in the Layers tab, I'll adjust the image positions using the horizontal and vertical offset settings. For the first image, I'll move it a bit to the right and a little down. Try adjusting it until it looks good in your layout. Next, I'll shift the second image a bit to the right and move it down. That already looks much better. Then, I'll add some padding to the top and bottom to create enough space around the content and keep everything looking clean and well-structured. I'll repeat the same process in the second container. First, I'll go to Wrap Control and switch it to Wrap so that the inner containers stack properly. Then, in the Advanced tab, I'll add some padding at the top and bottom to give the content enough vertical spacing. Inside Image Layers widget, I'll increase the container height to make sure there's enough space for everything to sit nicely. For the first image, I'll move it a little to the left and down so it sits more comfortably in the layout. It feels a bit large, so I'll also scale it down for a better fit. Next, I'll move the second image further to the right and down and resize it. Then, moving on to Money image in the third item, I'll place it a bit lower and to the left to help it stand out while staying nicely aligned with the rest of the layout. In the second inner container, I'll adjust the Image Layers widget height so the space matches the content inside. For Air Balloon image, I'll shift it slightly to the left and up to ensure it fits seamlessly within the layout. Moving on to the third container, I'll set it to stack vertically by adjusting the wrap setting, and I'll add some extra padding for better spacing between the elements. If you notice anything else that looks messy, you can easily adjust it from its container above. To make sure that any enhancements reflect properly in horizontal scroll, simply click the Refresh button. Let's take a quick preview to see how these changes look on the mobile view. You may notice some differences between the front end and back end in mobile view. As mentioned earlier, the Image Layers widget effects within horizontal scroll layouts will only appear on the front end. There is an option to hide any container on specific devices, such as desktops, tablets, or mobile phones. This is ideal for building custom layouts for each device. For example, I will hide the first container on desktop. As you can see, it's not visible on desktop anymore. But what if you want horizontal scroll to work in sync with another piece of content in the same container? Just like what you see here, each image is added using horizontal scroll widget, and each one corresponds exactly to the content displayed in front of it. Let's see how we built this. First, I'll add a new container and select a two-column structure. Then, I'll set it to full width and full height, and the alignment to stretch. In the left column, I'll add 3 template widgets stacked vertically. But before we do that, we need some actual templates to display, right? So let's create those first. Head over to your WordPress dashboard, go to Templates, and click Add New. Select the type as Container and give it a name. Inside Elementor Editor, I'll insert a new container, set the direction to vertical, and then make sure the container's height is set to 100 VH. After that, I'll choose Justify Content Space Evenly. This layout spaces out the content blocks evenly across the screen height, perfect for syncing with horizontal scroll. Then, I'll move on to designing the layout. I'll keep it simple with a title, some text, and a button, but feel free to add anything you want to show alongside each horizontal slide. Once you're done, click Publish to save the template. Then, repeat the process for the remaining slides, creating a separate template for each one. Now that our templates are ready, let's jump back to our main layout. In the left column, I will add 3 template widgets, one for each of the layouts we just created. I'm specifically using this widget because it's fully compatible with horizontal scroll widget and ensures each slide aligns correctly. Each text template spans the full width and pairs seamlessly with its matching slide. Template 1 with slide 1, template 2 with slide 2, and so on. This also helps keep the layout responsive across different screen sizes. In the right column, I'll use horizontal scroll widget, just as in previous example. . You can select the content type, either Elementor template or container ID, depending on your needs. In this example, I will select Elementor template. Let's create the photo template together. First, I will click the Create button, then add a new container and set its direction to horizontal. Next, I will make it full height and choose Stretch for align items. In the Style tab, I will add a background image. Then, adjust the settings by setting the position to center, selecting No Repeat, and choosing Cover to make the image fill the entire area. Once that's done, I will name the template, for example, Scene 1. Then hit Publish, and finally, click Save and Insert. You'll follow the same steps to create the rest of the photo templates. I had already designed these before, so let's use them. Now when you scroll, the photos in the right column will scroll horizontally along with the text. Let's preview how this looks on mobile devices. The result is perfect. Finally, let's explore Fixed Content Template option. This feature is perfect for keeping specific elements static while the rest of the layout scrolls horizontally. Let's say I want to create a horizontally scrolling testimonial container like this and keep a title that stays visible as the testimonials scroll. To do that, I will add a new horizontal scroll widget, then add a new item and change its content type to Elementor template. From there, I'll create the first testimonial template by clicking the Create button, then adding a new container and placing a testimonial widget inside. After that, I will enter the data for this feedback. Next, I will give the template a name, for example, Feedback 1, and click Publish. Then click Save and Insert to add it to horizontal scroll widget. I'll repeat the same steps to create 4 different feedback templates. Now we have built horizontal scrolling testimonial container. Let's move on to the fixed element. I will create a title template using fixed content feature. After clicking Create button to start a new Elementor template, I will add a container and set its width to 70% to keep things nicely contained. Inside the container, I will add a heading widget. You can enter any title that fits the overall design. Then I will head over to the Style tab to adjust the look. Next, I will add dual heading widget just below it. Once everything's ready, I will name the template Fixed Title and hit Publish, then Save and Insert. And that's it. The title now stays fixed in place while the testimonial card scrolls smoothly. Vertical scroll and fade effects in this image are created using Image Layers widget. And the progress bar you see here was added from the Advanced tab. We will take a closer look at how that works coming up next. Now let's check how this design looks on mobile devices. It looks good. If you notice anything messy in your design, return to your templates to enhance their responsiveness. These updates will automatically reflect in horizontal scroll widget. You can also adjust the fixed content's position using horizontal and vertical offset controls. Additionally, you can control its width for a perfect fit and the z-index to manage layering and visibility. Now let's jump to Advanced Settings tab. I will scroll back up to the first container since it's easier to explain everything using that one. One important feature here is number of slides in Viewport. This lets you choose how many slides appear on the screen at the same time. For example, setting the value to 1 will display one full slide at a time, while setting it to 1.5 will show one full slide and half of the next. Additionally, scroll distance beyond last slide lets you add extra scrolling space after the last slide, making the transition back to regular vertical scrolling smoother. Plus, you can use Offset option to add top padding to the outer container of the slides, creating the impression that the horizontal scroll begins even before the slides reach the top of the viewport. Another important setting is scroll type. You have two options here, normal and snappy. When you choose normal, the scroll animation behaves more fluidly, allowing a continuous and natural scroll feel. You can enhance it by enabling scrub option to soften the scroll animation. Now if you switch to snappy, things work a bit differently. Instead of a continuous scroll, this mode snaps the entire slide into place, one section at a time. It doesn't scroll the content smoothly. It jumps from one full slide to the next. To improve scrolling on mobile or tablet screens, you can disable the snappy effect if needed. If you want to slow things down, use decrease scroll speed control. For example, 2 means that scene scroll speed will be decreased to half. You can use force scroll to first slide control when you have a larger page or content. This helps prevent scroll jittering with the snappy effect by automatically scrolling back to the first slide. You can also enable the progress bar to show how far the user has scrolled horizontally. Use the left position or bottom position controls to adjust its placement. Opacity scroll effect gently fades slides in and out as you scroll, adding a smooth visual transition between slides. If you turn off opacity scroll effect, you can enable trigger entrance animations on scroll option. This triggers entrance animations for inner widgets each time you scroll to a slide. Additionally, there's an option to trigger entrance animations once, which plays the animations only the first time you scroll to a slide. You can enable keyboard scrolling for easy control with the arrow keys. For right-to-left languages, turn on RTL mode to reverse the scrolling direction. You also have the ability to disable horizontal scroll on mobile and tablet devices. For example, let's disable it on mobile devices. See, now when you preview the page on a mobile device, the horizontal scroll is turned off and the content scrolls vertically instead. Now let's talk about enhancing the user experience. Under the Navigation tab, you can add navigation dots and choose their position at the left, bottom, or right of the container to indicate the current slide. You can also customize the offsets and enable tooltips to display a short label or description for each dot. Alternatively, you can enable navigation arrows and select icons from Elementor's library or upload custom SVGs for the left and right arrows. Similar to the dots, you can adjust their positioning to match your design perfectly. In Pagination Numbers tab, you have the option to enable it for a number-based navigation style. You can adjust horizontal and vertical offset settings to position the pagination numbers exactly where you want them. Lastly, let's make sure the design works across all devices. Head over to Responsive Settings, and you'll find an option called Put Columns Next to Each Other. This is super handy for small screens, as it forces the slides to line up neatly without breaking the layout. See, when I turn it off, the columns stack on top of each other. Now let me show you how to navigate between containers directly without scrolling. For example, if you have a button in the first container and you want it to jump directly to the second, just scroll up to the first container. Then, navigate to the button settings and set the link to #/your container ID, which in this case would be container 2. Now when someone clicks the button, you'll be jumped smoothly to the container with that ID. Let's proceed. As I said earlier, there are two content types to build a horizontal scrolling page. We used a container ID. Now we will try Elementor template. I'll use Save Templates to create the same navigation, but this time using Elementor template. When you choose this option, you'll see a feature called Slide ID. This lets you give each slide a unique ID, which you can use for navigation. It's a real-time saver. Instead of opening each template one by one and manually adding an ID inside the container, you can simply set the IDs right here. These IDs let you link directly to specific slides from anywhere on your site. For example, you can use slide 1 for the first slide and slide 2 for the second. Once the IDs are set, it's easy to create links that target them. Just go to your template in the dashboard and format the link like this: #/your slide ID. Now when you click the button, it will automatically navigate to the second slide. But what if you want to anchor a horizontal scroll slide from a different page? That's simple too. You just use this formula: your website domain name /page ?slide equal, then add your slide ID. For example, if your third slide's ID is slide 3, the anchor link on the second page would look like this: your website domain name /page slide equals slide 3. This feature makes cross-page navigation smooth and helps you create a user-friendly experience. You can also use pre-designed templates from Premium Templates library. Just click the Start button, browse the available designs, and choose the one that fits your needs. With a single click, you can insert your chosen template and quickly build a visually appealing layout. And there you have it. With all these settings, you can build an engaging horizontal scrolling experience that's fully customizable and works seamlessly on any device. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest tips and tutorials.